How's it going, everyone? Turn down that a little bit. Turn this up just a bit. How's it going, everyone? Let's see. Audio should be good. Alright. Alright, welcome back, everyone. We are back for another, hopefully good stream. Let me turn down the music just a wee bit. Alright, there we go. So we're back once more with some more Fate stream. I don't know how long the stream's going to be compared to yesterday, but I wanted to do a little bit more of a stream today, just so we can get that out of the way. Yeah, how's everyone's day doing? For me, it's Tuesday, but maybe for some right now it might be Wednesday. Alright. Let's make sure everything's all set up. Get the stream going. Let's see. Alright. Yep, we have everything all set up. Cool. Alright, turn that music off. So yep, we're back once again with Fate Stay Night Remastered visual novel. So far it's pretty good. It is, you know, it is another basically reading stream that we're doing, but I'm enjoying it. And I hope you all are enjoying it too. So, last time we left off, we had just gotten introduced to Archer. We're going through Rin's perspective, and we saw Emiya last episode. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. Hold on. I did also see that I was mistaken, that there is a sound setting here. So yeah, master volume. So it's not too loud. That should be good. Yeah, that's not bad. And then we have... Wow, they just straight up show you the characters. Wow, okay. I guess maybe it's not a surprise, but... So we have Emiya, Saber, Rin, Tosca, Sakura, Mato, Mystery Person, Taiga, Archer. Oh, no, never mind. Okay, alright. Kira, even though they haven't showed him, like, physically yet. Alright, cool. Very cool. Very cool. Alright. Let's get back into it. So yeah, this stream, we'll see how long we're going to go today. Maybe like another 2 hours. Maybe 3. If we actually move along at a pretty good pace. Tomorrow there's no stream. We will be back again on Thursday. We're going to try and do a double feature. It's up on the channel. We're going to try and at least do maybe 5 chapters of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Steel Ball Run. And then we'll get the new chapter of One Piece out. And then next week, One Piece is going to be on break. So, of course, I'll do more JoJo chapters. But on that Thursday, I might do a catch-up stream to one of the old content that I've been debating on getting back into. I haven't decided yet, but the toss-up's going to be probably Bug Ego, which I hear there's 8 chapters of, so that's good to hear that those chapters are coming out a lot more frequently. Either Bug Ego or maybe Welcome to Demon School. Although there's a lot of chapters to catch up with Welcome to Demon School, and I don't know if I can get that all in one stream, but we can try and do our best. So, next week we'll probably do, again, a double feature of JoJo's and another manga series on the side for Thursday. And then Monday, hopefully with nothing changing or preventing, we should be doing another Fate Stay stream. And then this time Tuesday, we'll see where we're at. I might actually make Mondays the Fate streams and maybe start to implement another game stream. I'm not too sure yet. And I'm still trying to, like, tossing some stuff up in the air. Again, I'm debating on whether or not I might do a poll. So if there's a poll on the channel and on my Twitter, which you should go like and, you know, subscribe to. And subscribe to the YouTube channel, please. And like the video. And hit the bell notification. But yeah, so there might be a poll on the channel. And then a poll on my Twitter to see where people want the next game to be. You know, for Tuesday, ideally. So, we'll see. Things are in motion, though. Alright, enough dilly-dallying. We have the Holy Grail War. It's a grand ritual that has been repeated for hundreds of years. A fight to the death between 7 participants, of which only one can survive. It is said that the Holy Grail exists in the land of Fuyuki, and the number of mages fought over it in the past. Their one and only objective was to obtain the relic called the Holy Grail. However, the Grail's origins are unclear. We're sure it isn't the chalice that held the blood of God, but its power is fearsome enough to be compared to a genuine article. That's right. They say the Holy Grail can grant any wish. So they say. Only one person can possess it. The Holy Grail can only grant one wish for one person. Again, if anyone needs to, you know, tell me that I need to raise my volume or lower anything, just tell me in the chat. Despite that, 7 mages are needed to summon the Grail to this land. 7 collaborators to create one miracle. So, as you might imagine, it was only a matter of time before they started fighting over the Grail. So that was always something I had never really thought about, but I guess, yeah, in theory, you don't have to fight. It only started to fight because they were infighting because of the one wish. But in theory, I guess maybe if they focused 7 mages, you could get the Grail to appear somehow, some way, but maybe that's been lost to time. Like so many conflicts, it started as a competition over property right, even though none of them owns it. The 7 mages equally use the power of the Holy Grail to summon their respective familiars, then do battle over the Grail itself. Only one mage can attain the Grail. As a result, 7 people who started as colleagues ended up in a fierce battle to the death. That's the gist of the ritual known as the Holy Grail War, a struggle for ownership between mages. The mages chosen by the Grail are called Masters, and who use the blessing of the Grail to acquire powerful familiars are known as Servants. Hey! I actually have those cards, those physical cards. I got it from Fate Extella, like from the Nintendo Deluxe Edition. It's actually really cool. I like having them. 2 things serve as proof that one has become a master. The summoning and commanding of a servant, and the mark of the command spells to compel a servant to be servitude. This first goes without saying. The archer I summoned yesterday, no, a few hours ago, to be exact, is Rin Tosaka's servant. It's weird that you're saying that in the second person. As for the second, a master must closely guard the command spells that control one's servant. This is probably the most critical aspect of being a master. When I summon archers, symbols appeared on my right hand, namely command spells. Sigmatid bestowed by the Holy Grail upon the summoning of a servant that mark one's new status as master. A massive amount of magical energy is compressed into the seals, whose power is fleeting rather than long-lasting. The spare, once they are used, and as the shape suggests, each mark represents a single use. In other words, one only gets 3 shots. A master who has used up all 3 command spells can no longer control a servant and is as good as dead. Therefore, Command spells must be held with care until the very end, since they are valued as one's own life. Well, Rin didn't know that. Or she claims to have, but didn't. It pains me to no end that I burned one off right off the bat, but it wasn't a total waste, so I'll chalk it up to a win. Sure. I like the unique individual command spell designs. There's one in particular, I forget whose it was, but there was one I really liked. After all, a servant could turn on its master at any time. If one command spell is what it takes to put a collar on them, then I consider it a fair trade. That's about it for the border strokes of this business. Once 7 servants have been summoned, the Holy Grail War will begin. Tonight's sleep will be fitful. I do not know when the final master will appear, but they could be right around the corner. Or a couple blocks down from you. Yet again, not a morning person. I feel sluggish. My barely gaze goes up to the window, only to see that it's already bright outside. It's after 9. After a drowsy check of the clock, I make up my mind to skip school today. Also, fix that damn clock. I mean, you did to summon an ethereal being. Sitting up in bed, I have a long sigh. Not being a morning person isn't enough to explain how I feel so dull. I think Archer mentioned something about it. A master would be out of commission after summoning a servant. Listen, man, some archers kick Saber's ass. I remember it all clearly now. I'd rather not be honest, but it's not as if denying the facts will let me do it over. I drag myself out of bed. A mental box matching rages between the outside air, which is quite warm. Oh, I'm sorry. Never mind. Warm for winter and the comfort of my bed sheets. It concludes in a 3-second knockout against the temptation of going back to sleep. I check my body in the mirror. Nothing out of place aside from the loss of half of my usual magic energy. Not that it's a problem. I review the situation. I summon the servant Archer, who doesn't have an ounce of respect for his master until you put some respect in. To make matters worse, he doesn't even know who he is. Wow, talk about a headache. Servants are strong familiars all on their own, but what makes them truly formidable is secret weapon that they each possess. Frustratingly, Archer claims to have forgotten what he is. We're both in the same boat then. I can only pray that he'll sort his memories out, but who knows how long that might take. Good grief. I really got my work cut out for me. The parlor is completely back to... Hey, he did his job. I thought he maybe clear away the distress, but the room is spotless and I can't help but be impressed. He must have felt bad for wrecking the place. I doubt he would have gone to the trouble otherwise. I guess I ought to commend him for being a more decent guy than I thought. Speaking of which... I retract my statement. There isn't a remorseful bone in his body.
おはよう。そういうあんたは随分とリラックスしてるよね。今を好き勝手使ってくれちゃってさ。
何？一晩過ごした部屋だからな。どこに何があるか把握したよ。おう。ついでだから厨房も片付けておいた。もう少し荒れているかと思ったが、なかなか気の行き届いた厨房だ。一人暮らしの洋館にしては上等だな。
I have a headache. Why do I have to put up with a servant judging my interior decoration? I thought servants all cared only about fighting. Are you sure this guy isn't defective?
なるほど。本調子ではなさそうだな。昨夜は元気だったが、
You were so
睡
feisty.
眠をとって疲れが出たのだろう。紅茶でよければご馳走しよう。
Acting like he owns the place. Without missing a beat, Archer proceeds produces a teacup and fills it with the expensive reddish tea he's been brewing. It's like having a butler. There's a lot I want to say right now, but oddly enough, I can't work up the indignation to. The way he does it all is so refined, I've got to admit he might be rather cultured.
まあいいけど。
The cultured ones usually disagree with each other the most.
飲む。
I sit back down on the chair. The teacup is placed soundly in front of me, and I take a sip. Oh, this is delicious. I expected as much as since it is my favorite Chinese tea. A spring harvest pardon me if I get this wrong. Hong cha? Nah, whatever. I'd be upset if it didn't taste good. On that note, I'd normally be upset if someone used my favorite tea leaves without asking. It makes me mad, but the tea was brewed so exquisitely that the pleasure it brings overcomes my anger.
ちょっと。
So smug.
何？感想が聞きたかったが、その顔では聞くまでもないと思っただけだ。
I set the teacup down with a forceful thud. Yes, I got that.
もったいない。熱いうちに味わった方がいいぞ。私が気に障るなら消えているが。
ごちそうさま。結構よ。私は茶坊主が欲しくてマスターになったわけじゃないわ。あなたもね、頼みもしないことをする必要はないわよ。
そうか。確かに私も茶坊主になったり後片付けをするために契約したわけではない。君がそういうのならばこれからは気をつけよう。
ええ、私が求めているのは戦力としての使い魔よ。家事をこなすサーバントなんて聞いたことがないし、する必要も特にないわ。
Because no one asked them to.
特にはないとはどういう意味かな。
別に好きなようにとって結構よ。それよりあなた自分の正体を思い出せた？
Archer shakes his head in the negative. That doesn't bode well. If he can't remember after a single night, then his memories probably will not return easily. There are some measures I can try today, but...
分かった。あなたの記憶に関してはおいおい対策を考えとく。じゃあ出かける支度をしてハッチャー。召喚されたばかりで勝手もわからないでしょ。街を案内してあげるから。
出かける支度？いや、そんな必要はないだろう。出るのならばすぐに出られるが。
あのね、そんな格好で出歩くつもり？どう見ても普通じゃないし、他のマスターが見たら一発でサーバントってわかるじゃない。私、自分から私はマスターですなんて言いふらす気はないんだけど。
ああ、そういうことか。それも問題はない。確かに着替える必要はあるが、それは実体化している時だけでね。 サーバントはもともと霊体だ。非戦闘時には霊体になってマスターにかける負担を減らす。
ああ、そっか。召喚されたって英霊は英霊だものね。
Sure,
霊
sure.
体に肉体を与えるのはマスターの魔力なんだから、私が魔力提供をカットすれば。
自然。我々も霊体に戻る。そうなったサーバントは守護霊のようなものだ。レイラインで繋がっているマスター以外には観測されない。もっとも会話程度はできるから偵察ならば支障はないが。
わ、便利。それじゃあ本当に他のマスターを探し出すなんて難しいんだ。
ああ。だが魔術師は魔術師を知覚できるだろう。優れた魔術を知るサーバントならば遠く離れたサーバントの位置さえ把握するだろう。
Archer has it on 1. Masters are supposed to be capable mages, and the more magical energy that a mage possesses, the better they are at detecting traces of magical energy. As far as I know, however, there isn't anyone else around with that degree. I mean, there's like an entire house here. I'm surprised she's not aware of that.
で、あんたはどうなの？他のサーバントの位置、わかる？
マスター、私のクラスは何か忘れたのか？遠く離れた敵の位置を探るなど、騎士上がりにできるものか？
I don't know, depending on your history, you might be like also a tracker. You know, don't sell yourself short. Don't sell yourself short. He has a point. I mean, kind of. Archer's magical energy isn't on that level. It's likely that the only magical powerful caster is capable of easily locating distant foes. I wouldn't say that's a given rule.
わかったわ。じゃあ、とりあえず後についてきて、ハーチャー。あなたの呼び出された世界を見せてあげるから。
そう目新しいものではなさそうだがね。それよりマスター、君、大切なことを忘れていないか？
Yeah, fix the damn clock.
え？大切なことって何？
まったく。君、まだ本調子ではないぞ。契約において最も重要な交換を私たちは未だしていない。
Payment. I want $50 per... No, I'm kidding. Imagine.
契約において最も重要な交換。
No, that's a different series. Is he demanding equivalent exchange? Nah. If this was with summoning circles that were of different ilk and you had to clap your hands, maybe. No, that can't be it. The chances to take part in the Holy Grail War is already reward enough for a servant. There shouldn't be anything else left to trade.
君な。朝は弱いんだな、本当に。
Archer sounds exasperated. His oh so what does it say? Sardonic manner of speech finally gives me new idea. Man, Rin's gonna be so fun with all these dialogues. It's like, oh, I got another new word I gotta look up. Come to think of it, he's never once called me by my name.
ああ、しまった。名前。
思い当たったか？まあ、今からでも遅くはないさ。それでもさ、
No.
君の名前は？
ああ。
No, I want to get that face.
名前。
Damn.
思い当
There we
た
go.
ったか？
I might head back.
今からでも遅くはないさ。
Man's blushing.
それでマスター、君の名前は？
Now, what should I call you?
これからは何と呼べばいい？
Archer sounds sulky. Oh man, he really is a decent person. Man, you are coming to a lot of conclusions too quick. I'm sure of it now. After all, there's no tangible benefit to exchanging names. Servants are forcefully bound to their masters by the command spells. While names are key to contracting a regular familiar, there's no need for a master and a servant to be so intimate with one another. He's taking the initiative. It is important to Archer. He clearly is trying to establish a trust between comrades in arms, regardless of the command spells.
私、遠坂凛よ。あなたの好きなように呼んでいいわ。
I answered in a clipped tone, unwilling to let slip any admiration. He probably just called me something impersonal like master or hey, you, which works out just fine for me, except Archer chews on Rin's Tosaka for a moment.
それではリンと
Rinto.
ああこの響きは実に君に似合っている
He looks like a happy cat. He looks like one of my cats when they're happy and sleeping. He says something really forward.
リン
Did
ど
he?
うした何やら顔色がおかしいが
Nah, that's just our normal look.
うるさい。いいからさっさと行くわよ、あーちゃん。とにかくのんびりしてる暇なんてないんだから。
I turn on my heel and storm away, huffing. Tsundere. This is so infuriating. I'm not even sure why. Damn that Archer. Did he say that just to mess with me? It's called flattery, Rin.
ありえる。こいつなら絶対そうだ。
I know that you're a two-faced person and you haven't hung around actual real people that genuinely like you, but those are called compliments. Yeah, I'm sure that's it. Must be all part of his plan to get me all frustrated. Oh, flustered, I'm sorry. I better be careful. Gotta work with this wise guy from here on out. Well, you wise guy, eh? Yay, we're back on the streets. I take Archer outside. Fuiki City, my hometown, is broadly divided into two halves, right? There's old Japan, and then there's like new Japan, aka more European. There's Miniya, which is left over from the village the city grew out of. And then there's Shinto, not like Shinto, I imagine. I'm sure it's not pronounced like Shinto, like the religion. Shinto, the developing modern region across the river. Literally, what side of the river are you from, boy? My house is in Miyama, the old part. That's interesting that there is a European style history and house in the village that's probably more historically kept to more Japanese centric than the more developed modern. But I guess maybe developed modern does not necessarily mean that they kept any historical European based models per se. Miyama is itself split into two areas. So divide Shinto, Miyama, then divide again Miyama into what? Oh, there we go. The European-style neighborhoods originally inhabited by the immigrants from abroad. Okay, there we go. So not everywhere in the old area is European. Makes sense. And then in the other half, the old Japanese-style houses set against a mountainous backdrop. That's where class representative boy and the monks live. So, and boop boop. Then what's on the other side? Is it just all coalesced into one modern development area? Probably. Interesting. Both areas are suited on hilltops along the outskirts of the town. The streets divided two residential areas is fairly normal by comparison. How normal, you may ask? This normal. So, classic Japanese road, street. So that's probably more of the traditional, Japanese living. And then on this side is probably more of the modern living. Or not modern living, the more aristocratic European living that there was once here. This is the crossword of Miyama. On one side lies the road going up the hill to the European neighborhoods where I live. Opposite is the road to the Japanese houses, and between them is a path leading to Shinto, where my school and shopping areas are, as well as Ryodo Temple. So the temple is not in the older part of the Japanese style houses. Okay, it's kind of in its own separate area. Near Shinto, too. Interesting. Ah, there it is, the famous bridge. We come to the bridge connecting Shinto and Miyama. Years ago, a big train station went up in Shinto, bringing with it frenzied urbanization, as it always does. They may belong to the same municipality, but Miyama and Shinto couldn't be more different. Yeah, I mean, that's every, using Japanese term, prefecture. There's different sub-areas and cultures within a prefecture. Same thing with us Americans, you know, within a single state, depending how big that state is too, you know, the population density, you're going to get... Oh, hold on. Are we good? I just want to make sure the stream's still going. Okay, the stream looks like it's still going, but it like exited out of it for a second. I was like, oh shoot, please don't. Okay, that's weird. I don't know what just happened there. This is why we do this test. See, yesterday, if it did this, no big deal. It was a test. But now I did this on day 2. Getting my heart aflutter right now. What was I saying again? Oh, yeah. Different regions of a certain area, you're going to find subdivisions and different, you know, styles, culture, all kinds of stuff. So I'm not surprised. All right. Well, again, if anything crashes, I do apologize. This is why we test. The name Fuyuki, written in the kanji for winter tree, is supposedly inspired by the long winters here. I wonder if they're more situated by Hokkaido. Maybe they're just in a mountain region. No, I don't want auto. Which by the by are pretty long. So this is like the Canadian area here. Despite that, temperatures are warm. February here is also about as cold as the very start of winter itself. I bet if you randomly started digging, you turn up a hot spring or two. Though, of course, our temperature weather disqualifies the town as a hot spring resort location. I mean, I feel like the sheer fact if you have hot springs, especially in Japan, you might as well be called a hot spring resort location, but maybe they might need a certain amount of it. We got an odd climate where the mild winter suddenly turned to spring. Dude, that's what's happening all over right now. This is what Shinto looks like. Modernism. Yeah. Very modern, very sleek, very minimalistic, glass everywhere, sharp edges. Yeah. So, again, you have old-fashioned European on one side with also old-fashioned Japanese, and then you have the modern era on the other side of the river. But apparently the temples are around this area, which is interesting. A number of tall buildings have been erected as if in a hurry, giving the hastily developed city a distinctly artificial feeling. That's probably what a lot of people felt in the early 1900s when skyscrapers first came about. They felt it was too clustered, hastily built, destroying the skyline, all that stuff. Let me move my arm right here. It all happened last decade or so. 10 years ago, there was a large fire that wiped out a residential area. Yeah, we all know what happened there. Oh my god, I keep hitting the auto thing. Someone built a bunch of glass and metal buildings on the depopulated land. I guess, I mean, this sounds morbid, but yeah, if like there's a huge population that gets wiped out and no one wants to live there for superstitions or otherwise, I mean, you kind of have to use that land for something. It's either going to be used for agriculture, but again, if no one wants to fertilize it, or if it can't be fertilized, like if it's like some scorched earth situation, then the only purpose would be manufacturing and or urbanizing development. They weren't really probably left with a lot of options, I can imagine. It was going to be built over with something. And here is the center of it all. God. It looks like the life was literally like sucked away from it.
ここが信徒の公園よ。これで主だったところは歩いて回ったわけだけど、感想は？
I asked Archer who was next to me. Of course, he's invisible.
広い公園だ。だというのに人気がないのは何か理由でもあるのか。
Oh, superstitions probably like, oh, you can still feel the hands and the sensation of those who died here from 10 years ago, probably. Is my best guess.
やっぱりそう見える？まあ、ここはちょっとした曰くがあるから。
I looked out over the park. You think that a wide open space like this would have children playing in it, even on a weekend, especially in Japan, because their parks, from what I hear, are not real parks. They are more industrial parks and very artificial parks. Nothing to this, not to this scenery, even though it's, you know, this. So, yeah, it's a shame. But instead, there are only a handful of people. The place feels dull and lifeless. Yeah, I wonder why. It could be the white and gray grass and the blackened trees.
10年前の話よ。この辺り一帯で大きな火事があったんだって。火は一日燃え続けて、雨が降り出した頃に消えたんだとか。その後町は復興したけど。
Although the town was rebuilt, this place stayed basically the same.
焼け野原になって何もなくなったから公園にしたらしいわ。
The Burnt Meadow. That sounds like an awesome cover title for a music. The Burnt Meadow. Archer says nothing, but I can tell he sensed something odd, even if I can't see him.
そうよ。ここが前回の聖杯戦争決着の地。
She knows.
なるほど。それでこんなにもここは怨念に満ちている。
There you go. Grudges. Yep. Fuck, I keep hitting the auto. I'm trying to use the key instead of using my mouse because it's better for my hand, but damn.
サーバントというのは霊体だ。
Servant spirits first. Our very existence is similar to grudges or obsessions. This makes us sensitive to the lingering emotions such as there are other areas around the town that felt dense with such a feeling. But there's something different. I mean, that one crazy dude that brought Gaius, who summoned Gaius, who was just going on a like serial killing spree. Yeah, man, fuck that guy. That dude and Gaius were made for each other. I was so happy they took that guy out. Tosaka mutters under her breath. Archer's inflationless voice mentions an unusual bit of magical jargon. Innate bounded fields. Mages call them reality marbles. Yep. Escandor. Reality marbles are considered one of the apexes of magecraft. They are said to be infinitely close to true magic. I was about to say, like, how close to true magic are they then? There you go. So they're basically true magic, but without actually being called true magic. But that's like an example of what true magic could do. Like, you have your own pocket reality. For the last few centuries, bounded fields have served as mages' defensive barriers. Oh my god. Did JJK get domain expansions from... I guess that would make sense. To put it in simple terms, they're like a home security system with real teeth. Sure. Bounded fields... Hold on. Sorry I'm so fidgety with the mic. I just like to have it in the most optimal position. Bounded fields are conventionally erected on a piece of land or a building to guard against outside threats. There are merely alterations of an area that already exist. Reality marbles, however, are something else. So yeah, I think, doesn't JJK also use the term bounded fields? I forget what their terminology is, but they have barriers that they put up, like during oh my god, what's the fucking city called? Hold on. I'm just gonna pause it for a second. What's the city called in the last arc that we just went to? Shibuya. Yeah, Shibuya. Yeah, like they put up like, I remember it was like 3 barriers around the city because they knew like each area would be like its own battleground, and the smaller and smaller the barriers got, I think the more intense fighting that they would have. But yeah, they have something equivalent to that as well, where they have bounded fields, and obviously instead of reality marbles, it's domain expansions. I never quite realized that, but yeah, I guess that makes sense that JJK would take that from Fate. Other series do it too, but that's like the most inherently obvious one I can think of right now. Reality marbles, however, are something else entirely. You can think of them as a space that consumes reality itself. When the mage materializes their imaginary world, a representation of their mind, and overwrites the real world with it, we call the resulting field a reality marble. It's a large area magecraft that rebuilds the world around them according to a mage's wishes. So it's basically reality manipulation, reality reconstruction, reality control. It's cool. It's cool.
リン、どうした？
リン。
考え事か？
うん、ちょっと意外だったから。こういう結界だなんて、アーチャーのくせに珍しい言葉を知ってるなって。
なんだ、知っていてはおかしいか？
だってそうじゃない。こういう結界っていうのは魔術師にとっては禁忌中の禁忌、奥義の中の奥義だもの。アーチャーであるあなたが知ってるなんて筋違いよ。
I mean, why not? Servants can do them. I shoot a quizzical gaze in his general direction. In reply, I feel an incomparable sigh.
リン、英雄とは剣術、魔術に長けたものを指す。アーチャーだからといって弓しか使えないと思うのは勝手だが、私以外のサーバントにそんな楽観は持たないでくれ。
Oof. Oof. Yes. Oof indeed. That does make sense when he puts it like that. Again, you're still very new, despite your high and mighty and some areas of expertise.
わかったわよ。今のは軽率な発言だったわ。次からは気をつけるから、これでいいです。
This is war. You gotta get ready for the unexpected.
ズバリ言おう。君は優秀だが、それゆえに他人を過小評価する。
You are certainly talented, but that makes you tend to underestimate people. Yeah, you're too lofted on your laurels and your ego, and that's gonna get the better of you.
何気に失礼なこと言うわね、あんた。
He's your servant. He's supposed to help you in all aspects. break my habit. He's talking about me like an unruly racehorse.
いや、失礼。別にリンがジャジャ馬だと言ったわけではない。単にイメージ通りの表現を使っただけというか。
なおさら悪いわ。
Doom doom. Here we go. My right hand suddenly flares with pain.
リン。
That's the sign.
ちょっと黙って、あーちゃん。
The command spells on my right hand hurt. They're throbbing, almost like a dull alarm, warning their
誰かに見ら
owner.
れてる。
I scan my surroundings. Oh god, now we're in the negative zone. I mentally weave a detection web and cast it out over the
私じゃ見
park.
つけられない。あーちゃん、あなたは？
難しいな。私には視線すら感じられん。
ってことは、見てるのはマスターね。
Could be, or a very powerful magician servant. I don't know who it is, but if Archer can't tell, then it has to be a master. You gotta be careful, Rin. We don't have all 7 yet, but the fighting could start at any time. Maybe whoever's watching me is up for an early skirmish.
レイジはレイジに反応する。マスターであるのなら、誰がマスターであるかは出会えば感じられるということか。
Like JoJo's stand users, man. They're just always attracted to each other. They know when they're nearby.
ええ。けど、行為の術者なら自分の魔力ぐらい隠し通せる。いくら霊樹同士が反応するって言っても、その霊樹だって魔力で発動するものよ。大元であるマスター自身が魔術回路を閉じていれば、見つけることは
Basically, keep your power level in check.
厄介だな。では、こちら
Probably.
はいいように位置を知らせているということか。
You probably are.
でしょうね。まあ、私だって家探しすれば魔力殺しぐらいは見つかるだろうけど。
必要ないと。
そう。だって隠さなければ向こうからやってきてくれるでしょ。こっちから出向く手
You
間
got
が
some
省ける
confidence,
わ。
Rin. I'll give you that. You got confidence. Fuck, Auto did it again. And maybe I'll leave Auto on for like a minute.
何の進化上はいけないって言いたい
Nah,
の？
you know what? No. There we go. I asked a little defensive, thinking of our earlier exchanges. Archer mentally brushes the question
君はそ
aside.
のままが一番強い。
You're at your best when you're like this.
小物には付きまとわ
Yes,
せてやらない
let
か
the
ら
small fry come to us. Okay, get ready for it to be like a berserker. I can feel the smirk in his tone. Oh, I'm not saying I like what he said, but it's enough of an olive branch. I suppose we start walking around the town again. I spend the day taking him all to the important places and even drop by some less significant spots that might be useful to know. After dinner, I make for our final stop. It's now after 7 in the evening. This is a good chance to show him the best vantage point in the city. Oh, that's lovely. The wind howls. We are at the top of the tallest building in Shinto. The calming view of the city makes for a fitting end to our
ど
tour.
う？ここなら見通しがいいでしょ、あーちゃん。
はあ、将来君と付き合う男に同情するな。
I feel sorry for any future boyfriends. You really don't know how to run a guy around. I'm sure they'll be fine.
何か言った？あーちゃん。
He says that you're a bit much.
素直な感想を少し。と、確かにいい場所だ。初めからここに来れば歩き回る必要もなかったのだが。
何言ってるのよ。確かに見晴らしはいいけど、ここからわかるのは街の前景だけじゃない。実際にその場に行かないと街の作りはわからないわ。
Lay of the land.
そうでもないが。 アーチャーのクラスは伊達ではないぞ。
True, they're like the Hawkeyes,
周平は目が
man.
良くなければ務まらん。
そうなの？それじゃあここから家が見える？
That's probably the least of what he can do.
いや、さすがに隣町までは見えない。せいぜい橋
So
あたり
from
までだ。
one side of the river to just about where the bridge is. So basically, I assume bridge, other side. He can see all the area in Shinto, I imagine. I can count the number of tiles there are at least. Wow, Jesus.
そう、タイルって橋のタイル？
I didn't expect his vision to be so good at a telescopic level. I often see on rooftops, sharp eye doesn't begin to cut it.
びっくり。アーチャーって本当にアーチャーな
But
ん
the
だ。
respect on the name.
リン、まさかとは思う
Are you looking down on me? Hmm.
私を
Reem.
バカにしているんじゃないだろうな。
そんなわけないでしょ。たださ、あなたってアーチャーって言われには弓使いっぽくないから、つい勘違いしてただけ。
You did it again. Okay. So I'm not too sure what's going on, but something's happening when I'm clicking my mouse. Hold on, let me see something. Okay, I guess I might know what's happening, but that's weird. I didn't think it could do that. But, alright. Of course not. I just didn't take you for a bow and arrow type. My
そ
mistake.
れは問題発言だ。帰ってから追求しよう。
When that archer goes quiet for a while, he must like the landscape from up here. He's probably considering the layout of the city. I shouldn't interrupt him while he's thinking. I stepped away from Archer and approached the edge of the rooftop. All I can see from here are the lights below. Headlights flow through the city streets. I can make out people on the way home from work. I can't tell what kinds of cars they are in, or exactly who is walking. I can see them, but not clearly. It's not unlike how I could tell someone is watching me earlier, even if I couldn't pinpoint them.
少なくとも神道を根城にしている奴が一人いる。
I squat down towards the ground. There are 7 masters in total. I don't know who they are, nor the servants they are with. At this point, every master is probably gathering intelligence on their rivals, if they were smart. Suddenly, I feel someone's eyes upon me. There's no reaction from a command spell. I simply sense that someone else is looking at me. Could be a servant.
下。
People are walking on the street, but no one in particular is gazing up at me, as if staring at the moon. I'm not sure exactly who that is. I can't say for certain, and yet I know exactly who. That's descriptive. I can't believe that guy. Oh, okay. What is he doing out this late? Why do you care?
敵を見つけたのか。
An enemy? Archer calls out to me. Maybe he can make out my rising hostility.
ただの知り合い。私たちには関係のない一般人よ。
Unable to clamp it down, I irritably snap back at him and step away from the rooftop. In a tsundere huff and puff, I imagine. He couldn't have seen me from that ground. I'm sure it was just a coincidence. So you say. I haven't given myself away. In this scenario, you gotta be careful. Assumptions might be the death of you. And yet, my mage side is screaming at me for allowing an eyewitness to catch sight of me. By the time I get back to Mayama, it's 9 p.m. Unlike Shinto, Mayama is mostly residential. After 9, there isn't really anyone outside, and the streets are silent as if much later at night. Honestly, that's not bad.
こんなところね。町の作りは大体わかった？
ああ、町のことならわかる。あとは泳い掴んでいくさ。
なら今日はここまでね。私もまだ本調子じゃないし、家に戻って休みましょう。
I start up the hill at a relaxed pace when I know someone up ahead.
さくら？
Is that Sakura? Oh, now would be not a good time to run into her.
リン、何を隠れて
Rin.
黙ってて。あそこにいるの知り合いなのよ。今日は学校休んだし、あんまり顔を合わせたくないの。
As I asked, I keep an eye on her. In the middle of the street, our house in the middle of the street. There's the first year student I know. That's right. I forgot it was like that. I forgot it was like that in Unlimited Blade Works. In Heaven's Field, it's a little bit different. Yeah. And a foreigner I don't know. So she's considered a first year. Wait, how old is Rin and Tosaka? Aren't they around the same age? Pretty sure they are. But anyway, fuck that. Fuck that for a second. Oh. There are better ones of you out there, but I loathe this one. I loathe this one. Oh my god, man. Killed my favorite character in Fate Zero. They're talking. No, it looks more like he's trying to pick her up while she'd rather be anywhere else. Sounds like him. Are you acquainted with that foreigner?
いいえ、
No.
知らない。この辺りは洋館が多いから、どっかよそから遊びに来てるんじゃない？
Even as I finish the sentence, I mentally am telling myself off for being so soft. Oh, wait, yeah. I was about to say, shouldn't she or him be aware that this person gives off a reading? But then I forget. I think by the end of Fate Zero, I think he does somewhat become human, if I remember correctly. Like, he's still a servant, but he's not like a complete servant anymore. If memory serves correct.
あ、じゃあ、あいつ。
Is he?
さあ、実態はあるから。
I can tell he has a human body.
少なくともサーバントではない。
Oh, little did you know. So yeah. So he has a human body, but he is still, well, who he is.
そうよね。マスターでもないし、ただの血は喧嘩か。
You think Sakura has time for a lover? Though even I know that she isn't that sort. Yeah, there you go. To get caught up in something like that.
二人とも言ったな。女は坂を登っていく。男は。
My man, just fucking Shimpo. The blonde-haired man descends via the stairs we came by. Oh, he knows. He knows.
それじゃああなたはここを使って。
You can use this room. Any questions before I go to bed?
とりわけ重要な疑問はない。
None in particular.
すぐに戦闘を仕掛けない君の判断は正しいよ。今夜は魔力の回復を行うべきだろう。
ええ。それじゃあ明日、今朝の紅茶をよろしくね。
Once I'm back in my room, the fatigue washes over me.
眠る前に綺麗に連絡しないと。
That annoying priest left me a message. By now, he's probably sent for backup mage. It isn't my problem, but he is my legal guardian. I owe him a phone call at least.
電話と。
I punch his number into the telephone. Before long, the fake priest picks up.
私だけど、昨日サーバントと契約したから、正式にマスター登録お願い。
A brief pause. Curious silence is deafening. I can feel its weight even through the earpiece.
いいだろ。ではどうする？いるものもある。君がマスターになった場合にのみ、成人前に伝えてほしいと頼まれているのだが。
Is that so?
ああ、それって父さんの遺言のこと？それならもう解読して手に入れたからいいわ。それじゃ気が向いたらお邪魔するからよろしく。
待てリン。マスターになったのなら。
Didn't even let him finish. If I have to listen to Kirei's nagging while I'm this tired, I have a feeling my magical energy will drain away instead of recover. But to be fair, you gotta listen to this man. The slippery serpent, Kirei, should be taking his words with caution. I say, at least.
さて、これで準備は終わりっと。
All that's left is sleep. Once I open my eyes, it will be a brand new day. 10 years ago, my father fought as a mage in the Holy Grail War and lost. Now it's my turn to risk it all for the same prize. You might be risking stuff, but you may not be ready to lose it. It is now February 2nd. And ... After breakfast, I lay out my plans for the day.
学校に行くだと？
ええ、何か問題あるかしら。
I figured she was going to do another day too, but evidently not.
問題はないが、しかし、それは。
Archer looks reluctant but doesn't protest. After spending a whole day with me, he probably understands now that Rin Tosca does not go back on her word once she's made up her mind. That stubbornness has its appeal too. I can sense his disagreement even if it doesn't voice it, but I've also learned that Archer has a sincere side beneath all the sarcasm. He won't whine about a decision he accepted. Yep, he is loyal. And awkward. Like that. That's what my intuition says, at least, after watching him yesterday.
リン、マスターになったからには常に敵マスターを警戒しなくてはならない。学校という場は不意の襲撃に備えにくい場所だ。
Without making a scene, at least.
そんなことはないけどね。いいあちゃん。私はマスターになったからって今までの生活を変える気はないわ。それにマスター同士の戦いは人目を避けるものでしょ。それなら人目につく学校にいれば不意打ちされることはまずないと思う。
I don't know, Rin. That's a little naive of you to believe that. Some masters don't give a fuck. They just want to have fun. They just want to have fun.
そうか。リンがそう決めたのなら私は従うだけだ。
If that's your choice, then I'll follow.
だが、霊体化して君の護衛をするぐらいはいいのだろうな。
Oh, of course.
まさか学校に行っている間はここに残れ。
当たり前じゃない。学校に限らず外に出るときはそばにいてもらうからね。マスターを守るのもサーバントの役割なんだから頼りにしてるわ。
それを聞いて安心した。信頼に応えるのは騎士の務め。
There you go.
せいぜい期待にそうとしよう。
Trust.
だがリン、もしもの話だが、その安全な場所に敵がいたとしたらどうする？
何？学校にマスターがいるかもしれないってかて？
That could be.
そうだ。確かに学び屋には生徒と教師以外は入りにくいが、すでに内部の者がマスターだとしたら 厄介ではないのか。
Gotta keep your wits about you.
それはないんじゃないかな。この町には魔術師の家系は
They're the only functioning mage family left in
その
town.
あと一つっていう家系は落ち着い
Very
てる
key
し
words there,
マスターに
functioning.
もなって
But
ないし
doesn't mean that the other ones won't try and do it. Again, she's making a lot of assumptions, and those assumptions could be trouble for her, like Archer mentioned earlier. And as we know, some of them will come back to bite her in the bum.
あのね、うち以外に魔術師の家系がいるんなら真っ先に確かめるのは当然でしょ。そいつマスターにはなってなかったし、あっちの家系の後継者にはマスターになるだけの魔力がないから無視して構わないわ。
Oh.
そうか。つまりリンの通う学校にはもう一人魔術師がいるのだな。
そういうこと。だから他のマスターは外からやってくる連中が大半のはず。
Whew, well, that was
そんな
wrong.
連中が学校にまでやってくるこ
Good
と
thing you
はない
didn't
で
put
しょ。
money on that, Rin. If you put money on it, you would have lost so much.
まあ今の段階ではな。だがリン、何事にも例外は存在する。もし学校に君が知らない魔術師がいたとしたらどうする？
だからいないってば。魔術師っていうのは他の同業に敏感なの。
But you also talked about how if you're a good mage, you might have detection, de-awareness magic or some shit like that. Magecraft, excuse me, not magic.
断言するけど、うちの学校に魔術師は2人しかいないわ。そのうちの1人が私で、もう1人はマスターになるだけの力。わかった？アーチャーの用心はただの杞憂よ。
Is it paranoid or is it
そんなこと絶対にありえ
instincts?
ないんだから。
What separates a king and his horse? Instincts.
だからもしもの話だ。物事には常に裏目が存在する。
Exactly, dude. The unexpected. You have to go into this war to prepare for the unexpected.
本来ありえざることが起こるのもまた運命だ。もしそういった事態になった場合、私に八つ当たりをするのだけは思
Right.
いとどまってほしいと言っているのだ。
Basically, yo, if I gotta kill some of your friends that you thought were your friends but are actually some of your ops, it is what it is. Bodies will be hitting the floor. Archer chuckles dryly. His smug attitude already makes me want to do exactly that, but I'll be late for school if I let him keep pushing my buttons.
そんなことあるわけないじゃない。もしもの話っていうのは起きないからもしもの話なのよ。
What ifs tend to
もしそん
happen.
なことになったら、その時は私の見通しが甘かったってだけなんだから。
So you're admitting that if it happens, you were too naive. You're just not ready to say that you were. She's one of those people, when it happens, it happens. Again, it's a simple way of living, but again, it can come back to bite you on the butt. Exactly. I'll remember for later. I will be the one to tell you so.
君の学び屋まで30分。そろそろ出なければ間に合わない時間帯だ。
驚いた。もしもの話って本当にあるのね。
ああ、私も驚いている。いや、何事もケチをつけておくものだ。
It does pay to be pessimistic sometimes. I can't deny that. And I'm more of an optimist, but I can also give credence to sometimes you need a healthy balance of both. This is our exchange the moment we pass through the front gate. It's almost time for homeroom, so there are some students on their way to the class. All around us. Archer and I are on stand, still like a pillar aimed the swirling human sea. Amid the swirling human sea.
これ、もう結界が張られてない。
Yeah, there you go. Proof. Oh, what happened, Rin? I thought no other mage of importance would be set up at your school.
完全にではないが、すでに準備は始まっているようだな。ここまで派手にやっているということは、 よほどの大物か。
Yeah, it's like shooting off a huge ass flare, being like, "Hey, I'm over here. Come get me."
とんでもない素人ね。異常を感じさせる結界なんて三流だもの。やるんなら仕掛ける時まで隠し通しておくのが一流よ。
で、君はどちらだと思う？リン。
I mean, her rating may not be appropriate, seeing how she saw it couldn't possibly be true.
さあ、一流だろうが三流だろうが知ったことじゃない
Rin, you're being too nonchalant. You're being way too nonchalant for this. Like, who cares? You should. You really should. Because this may be an amateur in skill, but maybe they're just bold enough to do something in public. They may just be that crazy.
私のテリトリーでこんなゲスなもの仕掛けたやつなんて問答無用でぶっ倒すだけよ。
Okay. Listen, you gotta back that talk up. I let out an indignated huff as I crossed through the grounds. As a mage, there's no sugarcoating it. I won't be satisfied until whoever made this battlefield gets what's coming to them. Alright? I'm on my way back from the music room after second period. I spotted a first year fluttering around in the hallway. She looks like she could use a hand with the large stack of documents she's carrying.
手伝うわ、さくら。
I like how she keeps calling her first year. But maybe I guess she is a first year. But I thought they were similar in age, but...
遠坂先輩。
I'll say this. Heaven's Field. Yeah. They made you really consider, wait. Maybe Sakura is best girl. Oh, maybe. But this is the Fate route, so I think it's more... Oddly enough, I'm pretty sure this should be more Saber, if anything else.
何、プリント？世界史って言ったらうちの担任じゃない。クズキのやつ、女生徒に使いをさせるなんて何考えてんだか。ほら、半分貸して。はい、ありがとうございます。
Oh, so he not appealed.
いいっていいって。それじゃあこれ、さくらのクラスまで。久月先生のところです。誤字があったから回収するって言ってました。納得。久月は融通きかないからね。一つ誤字があったぐらいで試験を中止させるやつだった。
Oh, wow. Okay.
試験って学校の試験はですか？そう。あれは去年の中間試験だったかな。みんながガーッとマークシートを塗りつぶしてる時にやってきてね。誤字があるので正しい問題ではなかった。よって試験は中止。後日改めて行うってあの調子で淡々と言ったのよ。私たちも驚いたけど。
He's earned his reputation. He's that kind of teacher.
今でもあれは語り草よ。なんか久月先生らしいですね。それ先生、ものを教える立場に間違いは許されないって。
He's a massive tryhard, man.
久月のは度が過ぎてるけどね。さくらもそのうち思い知るわよ。久月の堅物ぶりったら岩か山かって感じなんだから。
Hmm.
遠坂先輩、久月先生のことが好きなんですね。
Yeah, and such vivid
そん
details.
な風に言うなんて珍しいです。そう？まあ確かに久月はもうちょっと柔軟性があればなって思うけど。
Though he's alright, just the way he is, ultimately. The faculty at our school is made up of both really nice teachers and some really scary teachers, but given this situation, it's nice to have those out of other teachers. It's a delicate balance that Mr. Kuzuki, an important part of he sticks to the carrot.
まあ2年になればもっとクズキと顔を合わせるようになるわ。あいつは倫理も受け持ってるし。
Ethics.
そんなことよりさくら、ちょっと聞きたいことがあるんだけど、いい？何ですか、先輩。
Oh God, senpai.
昨日の話なんだけど、さくら、見かけない外国人と話してなかった？見てたんですか、先輩。たまたま。それであれ何だったの？知り合い？いいえ、それがよくわからない人だったんです。あの人、道に迷ってたみたいでした。いろいろ聞いてくるんだけど、何を言ってるのか聞き取れなくて、そっか、ごめんなさい。少しだけ気になったから。いえ、構いません。ここまででいいです、先輩。あとは届けるだけですから。そう？それじゃあまたね。
I return to the printouts to Sakura. Before I head back to my classroom, I find myself stopping.
さくら、最近はどう？はい、大丈夫。元気です、私。そう。シンジがまた何かやったら言いなさい。あいつはどってものを知らないから、黙っていると悪化する一方よ。心配いりませんよ、先輩。兄さん、この頃は優しいんですから。
Lately, yeah. There isn't much I can say to a smile like that. That is a smile that melts a lot of hearts. We say our farewells again, and I leave my underclassman acquaintance. The classroom steadily empty and the campus darkens by the hour. The crimson sun will set soon. Once night falls, there won't be anyone left around.
始めるわよ、あーちゃん。まずは結界の下調べ。どんな結界かを調べてから消すか残すか決めましょう。
I speak to my invisible partner. I feel him nod in acknowledgement. Balance fields are meant to protect their casters. You can consider them a terrain-based magic craft formed by weaving magical energy into a net and then applying it to the earth to affect the inside of the field. There are countless types of effects that they can have, ranging from wards that isolate an area from the outside world to avoiding detection, to fields that limit the type of magecraft that can be activated in them, broken. The most offensive type suppresses biological functions inside of the area of effect. Good lord. And that's what's been applied to the school grounds. While it isn't finished, everyone in the school will collapse once it's activated. Something like that wouldn't work on me, though, of course. Bounded fields are, after all, targeted at the area I'm in, not me specifically. Such indirect magical interference won't affect a mage with magical energy flowing through her body. Similarly, the electrical charges that flow in the atmosphere won't disturb the electrical currents within my body. That means the balance field has some other purpose. Whoever it is that put this thing here is trying to defeat a master within it, But again, they're going about it in a different roundabout way. You said mages hold themselves securely and secretly and wouldn't do anything in the public. I think this mage is clearly trying to be a little bit more unique in his approach. I don't want to believe it, but they're targeting all the people within the school. There's only one possible reason for that. It's as thought I can't stomach. After checking around the campus, I finished my search on the roof. It's thoroughly dark outside now. The school gates shut at 6 p.m. and it's now 8 p.m. Archer and I are the only ones left. Archer in his spirit form. Ah, there she is. That makes the 7th one. Looks like this is the origin point. There are 8 symbols boldly drawn on the rooftop. They're purplish red marks that only a mage can see. I'd never seen or heard of sigils like this. Again, Rin, you don't know everything. There's going to be stuff like this happening. Whoever set up this bounded field did it recklessly. Well, maybe that was on purpose. But while the impudent, the magical working itself is an order of magnitude beyond my own skill. So again, purposefully flawed. I could temporarily erase the energy of the curse, but I have no way to dispel the bounded field myself. All the spellcaster needs to do is supply it with more energy to reactivate the curse itself. Archer does not comment. He's probably remained silent since encountering the rooftop signals because he too has realized their nature. This bounded field does more than drain its victim's stamina. It's literally mental. It literally melts everyone inside once it's turned on. There are bounded fields which rob victims of their life force and spiritual energy. But this spell that has been applied to the school grounds is on a whole different level. This is no less than a soul eater. Yeah, let's go. A blood fort which melts the human bodies inside it and forcibly collects the souls that ooze out of it. Very crude and brutish way of doing it. Alright. Since antiquity, souls have always been difficult to handle, I imagine. They're theorized to exist and are considered to be necessary components of magecraft, but only one mage has ever proven their existence, the One. Our definition of souls stops at that which examines within and that which is transferred between. Actually, if only one mage has figured it out, what about the 5 magicians? Because I do remember that. There are currently 5 living magicians that she stated in her world. What are their thoughts on this idea of the soul? To not only extract souls, they capture them in one place. It defies comprehension. What a mage supposed to do with a bunch of energy we cannot even convert? So, if I had to think of a purpose for it... It comes out colder than I intended.
我々は基本的に霊体だと言っただろう。故に食事は第二ないし第三要素となる。君たちが肉を栄養とするように、サーバントは精神と魂を栄養とする。栄養を取ったところで基本的な能力は変わらないが、取り入れれば取り入れるほどタフになる。つまり魔力の貯蔵量が上がっていく。
Yep. So they're leveling up. They're grinding up energy from souls to level up the servant. He's right. The way to make your own servant stronger is to indiscriminately attack humans. Grind.
マスターから提供される魔力だけじゃ足りないってこと？
足りなくはないが、大いに越したことはない。実力が劣る場合、弱点を武士で補うのが戦争だ。
That's true.
周囲の人間からエネルギーを奪うのはマスターとしては基本的な戦略だ。そういった意味で言えば、この結界は効率がいい。
Archer's saying that I should murder people and take their power if I want to win. It's so simple. I've always known that to be true, and I know it's the path that I'm supposed to walk. And mages have that policy of, hey, if I'm seen, unlike Men in Black, it's not, and your memory's gone. It's, oh, my life over yours.
それ勘に触るわ。二度と口にしないで、ハーチャー。
Staring at the sigil, I make my stance very clear. Oddly, Archer sounds just as put off.
同感だ。私も真似をするつもりはない。
His answer comes firm and resolute.
さて、それじゃ消そうか。無駄だろうけど、とりあえず邪魔をするぐらいにはなる。
I approach the sigil and extend my left hand. The magic crest engraved on my arm is like a grimoire passed down through the Tosaka line. By the eye of Agamotto, a mental switch is flicked. I pass magical energy through the magic crest, loaded a verse of bounded field in erasure, take a deep breath, and activate it. I send a pulse of magical energy via my left hand. That should wash away the sigil for now. Then suddenly, a third voice chimes in while I cast the spell. I whirl around. Ah! The boy. The man himself. Yeah. Here we go. It was a good fight in the anime. And then in the movie, God, this man got movement. A man is perched on top of the water tower, some 10 meters above, looking down at me. He's clad in a deep blue that blends into the night. His mouth is drawn with a grin, and he has bestial air around him. The beast gazes and is sharp and clear. In this bizarre situation, the man in blue watches me as if he's greeting a friend he hasn't seen in a decade.
これ、あなたの仕業？
いや、
Yeah.
最高を浪するのは魔術師の役割だ。俺たちはただ命じられたまま戦うのみ。だろ？そこの兄さんよ。
His tone is lethal yet carefree. This man can see Archer.
やっぱりサーバント。
Oh yeah.
そうとも。
そうと。
それがわかるお嬢ちゃんは俺の敵ってことでいいのかな。
The pulse. My spine tenses. This man's voice is detached and nonchalant, but it's colder than anyone I have ever heard. It's so scary, it's nauseating. This is a man who knows how to kill. What's the best move from here? I do not know. Get your boy Archer out. My brain is still working enough to tell me that I absolutely must not fight him.
ほう、大したもんだ。何もわからねえようで要点は抑えてやがる。ああ、失敗したなこりゃ。面白がって声をかけるんじゃなかったぜ。
The man raises his arm. It appears in a flash. His once empty hand now holds. Yeah. The fucking crimson spear over here. Oh, I forgot. What's it called? Gala? Something like that? I forget. A scarlet 2-meter long spear. That's not a spear at that point. That's basically a javelin. Or not a javelin. Oh my god. A pike. My legs throw me to the side as if before I can't think. There isn't time to even hesitate about jumping off the roof. With all my might, I make a mad dash for the fence, intending to barrel right through it. A cyclone lifts my hair into the air. It was by the skin of my teeth. You were very close. In that instant, something slices through the space I was just in, tearing the fence apart. Ojo-chan. A blue whirlwind pursues me. The blue blur. There's no way out. The fence is behind me. My flanks are cut off. I won't make it. You better show Archer now. I react swiftly. My magic crest surges to life so I can weave a signal count magecraft. The spell lightens mass and manipulates gravity. Light as a feather, my body bounces in the air. Skywalk. I jump over the fence to the plummet of the roof. Off the roof. Excuse me. Air resistance and gravity pushing and pulling along my body. It's about 15 meters to the ground, 1.7 seconds away, too slow. He's going to catch up with me. I let Archer absorb the shock of the landing and break into a dash as soon as we touched ground. I couldn't stay on that rooftop. We need a less cramped area from which to maneuver freely. A battlefield without obstacles where Archer and I can truly shine. It takes me less than 7 seconds to escape from that rooftop and to the schoolyard. A distance of over 100 meters crossed at a pace no human can manage, much less clearly see. So speed. And yet, my man, what is this fucking stance? Just, yeah, you ain't going nowhere, kid. You really do have good legs. I almost feel bad about having to kill you. Against a servant, it's a waste of effort. Hey. At the same time I draw back, Archer materializes before me. It's a cloudy night. Archer's hands grip a short sword that faintly reflects the moonlight. Yeah. The man's lips twist in a ominous sneer. The whirlwind howls. It's the weapon he swung at me on the rooftop. A spear of blood like crimson that came mercilessly at my head. Nah, I'm a berserker, clearly. This is just my walking stick. That must make your servant the saber. Goddamn, what's that face? Like he's activating the Byakugan. Nah, he doesn't feel like one. Who the hell are you? Gone is his carefree nature from a moment ago. Nah, he's getting ready to kill. Archer stays silent, facing off against Lancer's unconcealed bloodlust. They're just under 5 meters between us. Some JoJo stats right there. Lancer's weapon is nearly 2 meters long. He has the distance. It does not feel like this beast of a man is going to be deterred by a mere 3-meter difference. Archer does not take the bait. An unusual clash of blue and red stare at each other. The two knights, somewhat similarly dressed, mutually calculate the other's demise. Archer does not answer. His back, as steely as a sword, seems to convey that. He must not have anything to say to someone he must defeat. Nah, this is battle. That's when I realized I'm such a fool. Archer was waiting for my word. I call out to him without getting any closer. What was that laugh? The Red Knight surged forward, lips curled in response. The battle begins. Wind swirls. Yo, let's go. A scarlet blue flies forth, blade in hand. A blue spear thrust intercepts him. If the charging archer is a gust of wind, then the spear tip that rises to meet him is a divine storm. Oh. Streaking blades, elegant parries. Archer is to put on the defensive, fending off with swift thrust with his short sword. The man in red is stopped in his tracks. His advance denied by the enemy. He can't even reach the 2-meter coverage of the spear. A polearm wielder can control his opponent's range. I know we're going to really go that deep with a polearm. Good lord. Lancer, with his nearly 2-meter reach, needs to simply engage his foe whenever he comes into wind range. It's easier for him to stab at an advancing opponent than it is for him to go after an archer himself. Despite that, Lancer closes the distance himself to press the attack, all the while keeping Archer from advancing any further. We'll see. We shall see. Lancer snarls is fierce. With each thrust, Lancer closes in, an assault never letting up for a second. Moving in too close is suicide for a spear wielder. The advantage of a spear is the ability to control the enemy from a position. Lancer shouldn't have a chance if he keeps closing in. But that's only according to conventional wisdom. Yeah, we got spirits fighting here. Unearthly, unceasing, Lancer's spear seeks to pierce Archer's throat, shoulder, forehead, and heart. The strikes are too swift to even leave an afterimage. Archer is forced to parry, block, or evade every move of the spear. Any strike, if true, would be a more... I would love to see this instead of a white, flash. Still, Archer is a servant, even if he specializes with the bow. But then again, this is a visual novel. It's not like the anime. He won't be brought down so easily by a mundane attack. Hey, the intro. The thrust at his forehead is quickly baited aside, and Archer renews his charge in despite of Lancer's spear. One might think the swordplay is all there is to an archer's attack, but he is exploiting a weakness of his spear tactics. Against a spear's considerable reach, neither retreat nor evasion are valid defenses for long. A half-hearted withdrawal isn't enough to get out of range, while probing attacks will lead to evisceration. Oh, fuck it. Who cares? A reckless charge will similarly end in impalement at the end of the spearman's range. Archer and Lancer have more or less the same physical stature. They're trying to do a Tolkien for this. They're trying to go in like all the statistics, all the logistics, everything. Without heavy armor, it's difficult for an archer to penetrate the lethal storm of Lancer's attack radius. But Lancer's strikes are a different story. The high-speed thrust intended to pierce vital points are indeed terrifying, but each strike has a set trajectory and target. If one can predict this, these then are ways to avoid harm. Just as Archer is doing, one can block the strikes amid a vital point or just barely evade the arches to create a safe opening. Lancer probably underestimated him as a range specialist. Good lord, this is like some Togashi shit. The advantage of a long weapon is the generous range at which one can engage such opponent. By giving that up, the Lancer has assured his ... Yeah, hold on now. We ain't done yet. These are spirit warriors. The man in red stops in his tracks. Watch a nightmare unfold as if time has rewinded. Lancer's attacks become even faster than before. Good lord. Archer's short sword is knocked away as he twists to avoid being skewered. Lancer's spear does not allow for retreat, or rather, his endless attacks are so fierce and sharp that even servants are doomed against them. Relax. We were the ones who underestimated our enemy. We? What do you mean, we? We? Like we're French. Archer wanted to let you know you have to prepare for the unexpected. We. That servant, that Lancer, and his spear cannot be described in mundane martial arts. Of course not. Who could possibly survive such a relentless barrage? Someone who also is not mundane, aka Archer. Archer beats a desperate retreat while parrying strikes, creating slightly more distance between the fighters. Within that moment, Lancer steps into the gap and unleashes an even more ferocious attack. The storm of attacks is little different from what he's already doing, and their execution is truly godlike. They've already clashed 10 times. No, it's several times more than that. The torrent of spears strikes increase again in intensity and number, threatening to take Archer's life 1,000 times over. It isn't even a change in speed, but in precision. Something that a lot of shows forget. It's not just about being quick, it's about precise, the accuracy, the trajectory, all that stuff. At a steady pace, a Lancer's spear comes down on Archer like a waterfall. How can Archer get inside his guard? He's got to time it just right, man. With such a short weapon, all he can do is defend against the spear. He has no way to close in on Lancer. In fact, he's being forced backwards. The steel vacuum stretched out. I should be backing up Archer, but the right words die in my throat. My magecraft isn't easy to aim precisely. I risk hitting Archer too if he can't get far away enough from Lancer. Meanwhile, Lancer's advantage will only deepen. And to be honest, I have auto on. No. I'm captive by their duel. So this is a battle between servants. The Holy Grail War is a battle between familiars on the highest of order. These heroic spirits, the beings that we mages cannot begin to approach. But maybe magicians, maybe. In theory. Fuck, I did it again. Servants. Familiars divined among 7 classes and roles at the moment. Serving 7 masters. Supreme familiars called forth by the Holy Grail itself. Familiar is really a misnomer for them. Familiars are supposed to be subservient minions who act on behalf of a mage. Normally you'd imagine something like Puss in Boots. Hey! Chicano, my friend. Welcome to mi casa. No, es casa is mi casa. Ah. Yes, Puss in Boots. Yo. Someone has to make a fan. I'm sure they have. Puss in Boots should be a servant. Yo, FGO. FGO. Do a collab with Shrek. Even though I don't want Shrek, but Puss in Boots from Shrek as a servant. I buy it. I buy it. I buy it. I buy it instantly. I would spend so much money on that gacha. Are you serious? Hell yeah. Puss in Boots. Yes. My Tuxedo Blade. An elegant white bird. An elegant white bird. I don't know what you're referring to. Mother Goose, maybe? Or a disembodied black dog. Oh, from Sherlock Holmes, maybe. Something like that. Those sorts of familiars are what a typical mage can summon to command. Ah, give me Puss. Puss in Boots. Familiars are just that. From the Latin word for a menial servant. It's inconceivable that a mascot used for menial labor would be stronger than its master. But yeah, but these guys are built different. Built different. Servants are on a different story. They're quite literally the most powerful examples of humanity, and then some. And then some. Even the five magicians would not be able to control them. I mean, they're better than you, so I imagine they do a little bit better of a job. Like, let's wait and see. Again, this is from Rin's perspective, so you have to give it a little bit of a wiggle room. It's difficult to summon a servant, but not because servants are more powerful than mages. Servants are beings that surpass magecraft itself. Again, they're like more akin to true magic. Hey. To be clear, servants are heroes of the past. Not necessarily. Myths, legends, fables, histories. We call the glorious superhumans from our traditions heroes, whether the tales are true or not. Immortalized by what humans say about them, they cease to be merely human after death and ascend to something greater. Yeah, they are what give people meaning, potentially. Legacy. People who work miracles, who save the multitudes, who accomplish great feats, who are elevated to the status of heroes, either in life or in death. They become a type of elemental we call heroic spirits, guardians of the human race. It doesn't matter whether they are historical people or characters from mythology, or as we see in a lot of other Fate stuff, concepts, objects sometimes become historic heroes. Heroes are created by the thoughts of people. We imagine them as the ideals we wish they were and treat them as if they were real. Objective truth is irrelevant. That's why we get so many peculiar forms. Fame and faith are sufficient to give form to these legacies. Their humanity's ultimate ideals, the greatest among us, sus. That's what it means to be a hero and a heroic spirit. Naturally, it is impossible for a mere human to control something greater than a human themselves. What mages usually do is borrow a portion of their power and imitate their feats. Summoning a couple heroic spirit is simply impossible. Little did they know. Yet the Holy Grail makes it possible. It allows us to summon these spirits in the flesh and bind them to our command. The sheer absurdity of it proves the Grail's omnipotency. That's how heroic spirits are summoned from across time, whether from an age of gods or as recent as a century ago. Again, little do they know. The 7 heroic spirits serve and protect their 7 masters, and each master sends their servants out to defeat enemy masters. It is a death match between heroes of every age and every land. That's the story behind the ritual that we call the Holy Grail. What time is it? Oh, first. Let me see. Let me see. Okay. So we're about 2 hours in. All right, we'll go for a little bit longer. Let's at least try to get this fight done. Of course, there are limits to what the Grail can do, even though it's supposed to be omnipotent and grant any wish. Yeah, the Grail, I get it. I have issues with the Grail, even though the narrative sets up that there is intuitive misconceptions about it. Even the Holy Grail cannot indiscriminately summon mythic beings akin to elementals, just as a form created by people is required to materialize the 6th theoretical factor known as demons. Heroic spirits need a material form to operate in this world. This is their temporary label, and that is why they are allowed to exist in this world. The Holy Grail provides vessels that heroic spirits can easily materialize in, and thus dub classes. The only heroic spirits that fit these classes can be summoned. A class is like a passport that lets a heroic spirit visit a modern era to act as a familiar. It is a material vessel that they are temporarily possessing. And little did we know that there is a lot of wiggle room with that possession and how many passports, aka classes, there are. Whew. There are 7 masters, 7 heroic spirits to serve them. Each is assigned one of the 7... I feel like they're regurgitating a lot of the information. They're really going a little maybe too overboard with some of the info. Saber, the knight of the sword, but sometimes oddly doesn't have a sword. Lancer, the knight of the spear, again oddly sometimes doesn't have a sword or a spear. Archer, the knight of the bow. Rider, the cavalier. Again, sometimes doesn't have anything to ride. Caster, the mage. They're fun. Assassin, the silent killer. Berserker, the mad warrior. Sometimes not true. Only heroic spirits with these attributes corresponding to the 7 classes can be summoned to the modern world. They become servants with whom masters command. Yeah, well, kind of. That's the servant system. That you know. Humans summon and can make contracts with heroic spirits beyond our ability to handle in all hopes of winning a miracle beyond our kin. It is the greatest battle that can only happen here in this land, like no other Holy Grail war. Jesus, flashbangs. The duel reaches a higher pitch. The short sword goes flying from Archer's hand after blocking one of Lancer's strikes. Lancer's skill is consummated. A seemingly straight thrust suddenly whipped into a disarming arch at Archer's wrist. It was an attack that Archer couldn't avoid, even if he saw it coming. There isn't an effective way to parry the spear with his sword. A forceful block is countered with an even keener strike, while defending it with a minimal force will never create the opening to exploit. A clash between a sword and a spear is shaping up into an intense struggle to defeat an enemy outside of Archer's reach. Hey, hold on. That's nice. Hold on. Let me screenshot that. That's actually pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I'll save that. Save that for later. A lot of these shots are really nice. Like the paneling. The overall character designs, when they're like in dialogue or whatever, they're alright. They're alright. You fool. There's no hesitation in the Lancer, even as he taunts an Archer. He pauses from the constant pressure as he puts on Archer. Does he intend to settle the duel in an instant? Lancer, takes a firm, rooted stance, trading a fiery glare, with now an unarmed Archer. It happens in an instant. In the span of a breath, Lancer loosens a flurry of blows a flurry of blows that no less than a flash of light. Oh, power scale. Imperceptible. Forehead, neck, heart. How are you perceiving it then? The spear moves to skewer all three. And yet, another flash of light counters the first that I couldn't even follow. Archer's hands grasp a short sword once more. Like the weapon he used earlier, is a Chinese short, not dissimilar to a cleaver. But the greatest difference between them is... There we go. A dual wielder. Ah. The blade and blade. In each hand, he grips a sword, each clearly meant to complement each other. Hold on, I'll be right back. BRB, give me 1 second. Alright, I'm back. I'm back. Oh, wrong camera. There we go. Let me go back to the game. Yeah, we're good. Alright. Let's finish this part up. Playing swordsman, are we? Lancer's spear sings through the air, excuse me. Oh, that's kind of cool. It becomes even faster as if he herald archer certain death. Finally, more visualization. The duel becomes a symphony of clashing blades. I was going to say a symphony of metal clanging. Two steel instruments playing a resounding chorus. The sparks of their conflict rising to a never-ending crescendo. Their battle is like a vacuum. It sucks in all the air around, making me feel like I will be cut even if I dare to approach. It all happened in an instant, really. But I was washed with I was washed with bated breath. The moment seemed to stretch on. Lancer keeps his foe out of his fatal pocket, while Archer attempts to close the gap with his shield of dual swords. The clash over 100 times already, Archer losing a weapon each time, but instantly another sword appears in Archer's empty hand and Lancer is slightly driven back each time. Lancer finally acknowledges his miscalculation. He has no idea who he's fighting. But it would be a mistake to keep dismissing his opponent as a bowman. A space opens up between them. Lancer puts significant distance between them. Maybe he intends to start over. The agility isn't normal, and that's her saying that. Archer's charge defies human ability. He's sluggish next to Lancer. The swiftness of Lancer's retreat had the speed and grace of a leopard.
27それだけ弾き飛ばしてもまだあるとはな。
Lancer sounds irritated. Actually, he sounds more confused than upset. I feel the same way. According to my father, servants typically only have one weapon. It depends on what they describe as a weapon, though. They're supposed to be singular relics of unimaginable power. And also, this is your father speaking. Your father is not the all-knowing body that he claims to be. Not expendable items to be drawn over and over like Archer doing. Servants are heroes whose spiritually rank are evaluated to the magnitude of elementals or divine spirits after death. In a way, they're not unlike angels or demons. They're powerful familiars on their own, but their great strength is the mighty weapons that prove they are heroes. We call these magic items noble phantasms. They are the favored weapon of an armor. They are a favored weapon or armor of that servant that used while it was a living hero. But it's literally the servant's secret weapon. To a servant, a noble phantasm is one-of-a-kind armament. It is the servant's indispensable, ultimate weapon as well. The same goes for Lancer's spear. It's an exhibit of the power as a noble phantasm, if he so chooses. A noble phantasm is a formidable weapon on its own, but its true power expressed by invoking its true name. Hero weapons are known to have slain dragons, gods, to have conquered the earth. Servants activate the noble phantasms with their own magical energy. It's unlike magecraft, actually. It's not unlike magecraft, actually. Servants use their noble phantasms as catalysts to recreate the destruction from their legends. A noble phantasm is most certainly not a disposable tool. Archer has produced dozens of swords by now. Each seems like a masterwork unto itself. But they surely cannot hold noble phantasms. Are you sure about that? He is an archer, after all. His secret weapon must have some kind of bow.
どうしたランサー様子見とは君らしくないな先ほどの勢いはどこに行った
Yeah, where's the gusto?
タヌキが減らず口を叩きやがるか
The cause of Lancer's irritation is obvious. Lancer has been fighting as a spearman while Archer has been fending him off as a swordsman. Meanwhile, the Archer hasn't revealed his true cards. That must be frustrating him.
いいぜ聞いてやるよてめえどこの英雄だ二等使いの旧兵なぞ聞いたことがない、
そういう君は分かりやすいな総兵には最速の英雄が選ばれるというが君はその中でもえりすぐりだ
Oh, is he?
これほどの宗主は世界に3人といまい加えて獣のごとき敏捷さといえばおそらく1人
I don't know. I feel like in the long run, if you extend the universe and go out and see other servants, I feel like there are better servants that are Lancers than him. But then again, they're like getting into like some deities and shit. Oh, well said, Archer. For a moment, the bloodlust is so strong, I forgot to breathe. Lancer arm moves. A deliberate stance without any of the nonchalant as shown thus far. His spear dips, as if to puncture the ground, but Lancer's eyes bore straight through Archer.
ならば食らうか我が必殺の一撃を
Here we go.
止めはしないいずれ超えねばならぬ敵だ
Lancer lowers his stance. Simultaneously, a thorny, bitter cold overtakes the schoolyard. The air freezes. I don't mean the metaphorical, it's literally ice cold. All of the mana in the atmosphere freezes solid. Only the warrior Lancer is allowed to breathe in this space. The spear in Lancer's hand is undoubtedly magical. Its true form eager to burst forth. Oh no. Oh no. As Knuckles would say. He's going to die. Believe in him. Believe in the archer that believes in you. I don't know what kind of noble phantasm that is, but Archer is finished. He's cooked. It's the first time I had ever had this kind of premonition. And hard as it is to believe, I doubt it for a second. If Lancer unleashes his spear, Archer will die. That is absolutely certain. Well, then we gotta make sure that he doesn't. As Lancer says, spear means death. Archer will lose. Lancer will stab him through the heart, and he will die. Despite that, despite these premonitions, despite this insight, I can't even help Archer. I feel like if I'm so much as lift a finger, it'll signal the beginning of the end. If there is a way to prevent Archer's death, then it can only be interference from an outside party. Don't forget to hydrate. Even now, at this late hour. At least for me. The sudden appearance of a third party whom we've all overlooked. Just a fucking onlooker like, what the hell is going on? Lancer's ferocity disappeared. I hear the sounds of someone running away. From behind, I can clearly make out a school uniform.
まだ学校に残ってたの？
そのようだな。おかげで命拾いしたが。
Archer answers coolly. Sure enough, this interruption did save our skin.
ランサーに気を取られて周りの気配に気づかなかった。ってアーチャー、あんた何してんの？
見てわからないか。手が空いたから休んでいる。
んなわけないでしょ。ランサーはどうしたのよ。
さっきの人影を追ったよ。目撃者だからな。おそらく消しに行ったのだろう。
No witnesses. For a moment, my thoughts grind to a
追
halt.
ってアーチャー、私もすぐに追いつくから。
Archer pursues Lancer immediately.
なんて間抜け。
I curse my own negligence. It's standard mage policy to eliminate witnesses. Until now, I've been careful not to allow anyone to see me as a mage to avoid that scenario. Why did it have to happen today of all days? Like he said earlier, Destiny has a tendency to bring the unpreparedness. The night feels oppressive, not letting even the moonlight through. I find Archer standing over the body of a student, collapsed on the floor of a terrible, cold hallway. He looks wordlessly down at the student. Jizzed everywhere. I'm kidding. An odor reeks my nose out. The sight of a slowly pooling blood makes me realize that it's the smell of death. Well, easy now.
追ってアーチャー。ランサーはマスターのところに戻るはず。せめて相手の顔ぐらい把握しないと割が合わない。
Archer goes after Lancer. Only the fallen student and I remain in the corridor. I can't look at him in the eye, but I have to. This is my fault. This is my fault. This is my fault that she keeps repeating in her mind. Since I was young, since I made up my mind to inherit the Tosaka legacy, I have been prepared for this. Mages aren't governed by good or evil. I've known all along that this is the path would be bloodied.
ランサーの槍で一突きか。心臓やられてちゃ助からない。
Lancer's spear, if he got you in the heart, there's no saving you. I don't know how many seconds ago Lancer had killed him. It's just a matter of whether he's unlucky enough to get stabbed through the heart. The blood loss isn't as bad as I would expect for a destroyed heart, so maybe the injury isn't too deep. It may not be too bad, but he's still screwed if his blood has been cut off to his brain. Though, yeah, if his heart was wrecked, then it would have died instantly. So again, we're just saying, like, is he dead or is he not dead? Investigate. Investigate. It's hard to hear, but just barely. My ears pick up on a faint breathing. That might be a death rattle, but it won't last more than a few seconds. I don't have the power to save him. I do not even have a way to heal my own wounds.
顔を見ないと。それぐらいはしなくちゃ。
I start to reach for the face of the prone figure when I realize that my finger won't move. They are shaking. But why? I'm used to this. I've made the choice countless times. In your head, In reality, it's much different. I've come to I've lost so much thanks to my own mistakes, my own selfishness. That is why I've always been ready for the day to come. Then why am I so angry at myself? I'm sorry. I'll keep you company. You deserve that much. I used cold logic to still my trembling fingers and legs and check the fallen student's face. Oh, Jesus. Red. A great weight falls upon me. I feel like I have just been struck by a hammer. You've been thunderstruck.
やめてよね。なんだってあんたが。
I grind my teeth. No longer to brace myself against the shaking, but because I am truly angry. Why did it have to be him? Why him especially? I'm not upset with Lancer for slicing a witness, as a servant should. But at school today of all days, at this hour, you fool, why would you of all people? Sakura's face comes to mind. I'm sure she'll cry. And I'll find myself recalling a day after school some years ago. The sky glowed a distant red, and a boy that always ran, a silly little girl, watched him absently from afar. That boy got involved in something he shouldn't have, and now his corpse is in front of me. There's still a way. If I fail, I might lose my trump card, but there's a way to save them. No, I'll lose it whether this works or not, so the outcome's the same to me. The outcome only matters if you have the resolve and the heart to save him. This is a mistake. His impending death is a foregone conclusion. You'll know that yet. It's my fault for not paying enough attention to what's happening around me, and his fault for having the dumb luck to be here. There's no need for me to go this far for him. My father, who left me without nothing to remember him by, and that's not true, he has will, did in fact leave me this heirloom to help me. It's a massive store of magical energy meant to be a trump card that helps me win this war. A precious, precious treasure just for...
だからなんだってのよ、バカ。
I turn back and kneel by the dying boy. The pendant in my hand gets lighter. My father's keepsake is nearly empty. With a clank, I drop it on the guy who was a second away from becoming a corpse.
まあ、仕方ないか。
I don't have the power or skill to bring someone back to life, especially someone with a destroyed heart, damaged blood vessels, or brain death mere seconds away. All I can do is patch up his missing parts with brute force.
まだ息があるのが運の尽きだった。完全に死んでいたら、どんなに魔力の蓄えがあっても
That's true.
蘇生
There you
が
go.
できなかったし。
But he's still alive. Then I just need to help him the best that I can.
失敗してたら目も当てられなかったけど、成功したからいいか。ええ、正直に言えば充実感あるしね。こういう経験も悪くはなかったわ。
Though really, I am lying to myself.
済んだことは済んだこと。こいつが目を覚ます前に帰らないと。
Yeah, there isn't any point of hanging around. Archer's off tailing Lancer, so I should go home. On my way home, I remember I left my father's memento at school, though now it's just a pendant with all of its magical energy wrung dry. Your memento of your father can still live on within your heart. I don't suppose I need it anymore. It might have a little bit of energy left in it, but it's less than the 10 gems I'm carrying. What Father wanted was for me to have enough magical energy to win the Holy Grail. Now that I've used that resource up, its container doesn't mean much. You gotta win on your own merit. I arrive home without announcing my return and plop down on the sofa. Archer still isn't back yet. I have a tired sigh and listen to the clock tick for a few minutes.
いい加減頭を切り替えなくちゃ。あれだけの戦いを経験しておいて何ほうけてるんだ私。
I jump to my feet and make some black tea. I have plenty to think about. Jeez, IQ. The servant we encountered most of all, I finally watched a battle between servants, which, until today, I only know about through books.
ランサーか。宝具を使われそうになった時は焦ったけど、実際使ってたら正体は分かったのよね。
Learning a servant's identity is key to defeating a servant. With the exception of an idiot who doesn't know his own name, a servant's greatest weakness is their identity. Once you learn a servant's name and identity, then you can mostly deduce the heroic spirit's noble phantasm. It goes without saying that since servants are heroic spirits, they have legends associated with them. Unraveling their history can reveal a lot about their abilities. Masters address servants by their class names to hide their true names. The more famous a hero, the more likely their weapons and weaknesses are to be known. A historic spirit who has become a servant will never willing divulge their identity. That knowledge is reserved only for their masters. There's a tact understanding that a master conceals their servant's identity while trying to figure out the identities of others. Including this one, there have been 5 Holy Grail wars thus far. Each servant quality depends on the caliber of the summoned heroic spirit. Naturally, a famous hero or one with a legendary weapon is powerful. Accordingly, it's difficult to summon a heroic spirit. For that, a summoner needs a connection to the heroic spirit they're summoning, such as a weapon. The hero wielded during their lifetime. Even the mage association with all their resources only have a few such items. That is why most mages, myself included, summon a heroic spirit with whom we have an affinity with. A servant's strength is determined by the caliber of heroic spirit, or so the logic goes, but reality isn't so clear-cut. Even a superior heroic spirit might struggle when the classes in play aren't favorable. A class-specific ability can have a large impact on the outcome of a battle. Each of the 7 classes come with additional abilities, and interaction between these can allow one to triumph over a stronger opponent. To continue the example, it is said that the great heroes who were defeated by lesser-known heroes in each of the previous 4 wars. As far as I know, the best servant class is Saber. That's kind of crazy after all those instances, and they're like, yeah, Saber. I'm just saying. The other materials make it be like, Saber, they're good, but really the best is Saber fought until the very end in each of the last 4 wars. But that's, I feel, more circumstantial than outright they are the best. Saber Lancer and Archer are said to have more powerful magic resistance. Magecraft isn't effective against these three classes. After all, they're warriors from ages of myth and legend, which magic was still prevalent. Spells cast by modern mages would probably fizzle out on contact. I mean, I would feel like that's, well, I would think for casters, but okay. That's why the first three classes are generally considered the most desirable. The other classes to watch out for is Berserker. Heroic Spirit summoned in this class lose their sanity. As the name suggests, they become crazed warrior and puppets of their masters, but are strengthened beyond the powers they had before. Or their cute fox girl maid things. Yeah, you know. For those who know. It's also worth noting that the stronger a servant is, the greater its burden on its master. In the past, masters who drew berserkers couldn't control their servants and ultimately self-destroyed due to running out of magical energy. One particular from the last one. No exceptions. In the vast majority of cases, the Holy Grail War are won by summoned servants' abilities. Of course, there are plenty of ways for masters to win battles, but it basically comes down to fighting between servants. That's why a master needs to commit the utmost diligence and effort of a summoning servant. Discontented, I decided to come up with the projections for the battles to come. Before long, it's 11 p.m. Yes, I fixed the clock already. Archer comes home. Good! She knows I was talking about that.
おかえりなさい。成果はどう？
すまない。失敗した。よほど用心深いマスターだったのだろう。少なくとも、こちら側の町にはランサーのマスターはいなかった。
Lancer was all alone and his master doesn't seem like the type to show themselves. I see.
まあ簡単にはいかないわよね。
Everything can't go according to plan, so there's no use in worrying over it. I'll just give up and treat tonight as a learning experience.
ないな、マスター。いつもの伊勢はどうした？まさか、先の一戦でおじけづいたというのはなしだぞ。君が命じるのなら、今すぐにでもランサーとの再戦に赴いてもいい。
Nah, there's no point. Don't waste our energy and time. Let's plan. Archer doesn't say it, but I can tell he thinks that that's the right course of action. I must look pretty depressed right now.
そんなわけないでしょ。私が打って出ないのはね、単に無駄手間をしたくないだけなんだから。
無駄手間をしたくない。
だってまだマスターの数が揃ってないでしょ。今夜のはやむなしだったけど、開戦の合図があるまで戦わないわ。それが聖杯戦争のルールだって父さんは言ってたし。
そうか。君の父親もマスターだったのか。
Archer nods in understanding. Actually, he's making a rather mixed expression.
何よ、何か言いたいことでもあるの？あんた。
ああ、一つ聞き忘れていた。リン、君は幼い頃からマスターになるべく育てられ、それに従ってきたのだろう。つまり、初めからマスターになることを予想していた。
You assume.
当たり前じゃない。それはいきなりマスターに任命される魔術師もいるそうだけど、私は別よ。遠坂の人間にとって
generational goal.
何代も前からの悲願なんだから。
そうだろう。なら目的が党にあるはずだ。 私はそれを聞き忘れていた。主の望みを知らなければ私も剣を預けられない。リン、それで君の願いは
What is your wish?
願い？そんなの別にないけど。
何？
Nani? Ah, Archer's making a funny face.
そんな
Is that funny? Is that what that is?
聖杯
Okay.
とは願いを叶える万能の杯だ。マスターになるということは聖杯を手に入れるということだというのに、叶える願いがないとはどういうことだ？
Archer drops all pretenses. Once the Holy Grail is won, the victorious master wishes has nothing to do with the servant. But that's weird. Father mentioned that servants have their own wishes too, but that's their own business. It shouldn't matter to Archer whether or not I have a wish.
よし、明確な望みがないのであれば、漠然とした願いはどうだ？例えば、世界を手にするといった
Conquering the world. Sekai. Yes.
なんで？世界なんてとっくに
Oh, it does it now, Rin. I didn't realize that. Shoot. It's your world. We're just living in it.
あのね、アーチャー。世界ってのはつまり自分を中心とした価値観でしょ？そんなものは生まれた時から私のものよ。
I don't need to take over something that's always been inherently
私はとっく
mine.
に世界を支配している。
Okay. All right. I mean, that's a interesting way to perceive reality. Archer looks at me with a strange expression. Man, he's stubborn.
バカな。聖杯とは望みを叶える力、現実の世界を手にできる力だぞ。それを求めるというのに何も望まないというのか、君は。
だって世界征服もめんどくさいし、そんな無駄なことを願っても仕方がないで
That's
しょ。
fair. World conquest sounds easy to win. Ruling after is another part.
理解に苦しむな。
そこに戦いがあるからよ、ハーチャー。ついでにもらえるものはもらっておく。聖杯がなんだかは知らないけど、いずれ欲しいものができたら使えばいいだけでしょ。人間生きていれば欲しいものなんて限りないんだし。
つまり君は。
ええ。ただ勝つために
I'm just
戦う
fighting to
の。
win. If there's a fight, I'll go in there, and when I do, I win. Simple and straight to the point. Archer sighs and shrugs. Maybe he's fed up with me, but he finally relaxes. I give up.
確かに君は
Truly fit to be my master. Hey, acknowledgement. I don't know how to respond to a comment like that, so I wish he would stop making them.
サーバントにマスターを選ぶ権利はないけど、一応聞いとく。なんで私があなたのマスターにふさわしいのよ。
言うまでもない。君は間違いなく最強のマスターだ。
Yes, she needs a lot to get through her thick skull.
使える相手としてこれ以上のものはない。
そう、ありがとう。あなたに言われるなら世辞ってわけじゃなさそうだし。
Oh, excuse me. I just let out so much air. I was just trying to say the next word. Oh my god. I turn away to hide my embarrassment. That's what I want to do right now. Archer usually acts like a smartass, so this sincerely is blindsiding me. Admittedly, I'm happy he feels this way. I've come to trust him, and he comes to trust me. I don't think his mutual sentiment is a bad thing.
さて、ならば一息入れようか。7人目のマスターが現れるにせよ、それは今すぐというわけでも。ちょっと待て、リン。君、あの飾りはどうした？
飾りってペンダントのこと？はあ、あれなら忘れてきちゃった。もう何の力もないものだし、別に必要ないでしょ。
それはそうだが、 君がそう言うならいいが。
ええ、父さんの形見だけど別に思い出はあれだけってわけじゃない。
よくはない。そこまで強くあることはないだろう、リン。
He knows that you gotta let out some feelings every now and again.
拾いに行ってくれたんだ、あーちゃん。
もう忘れるな。それはリンにしか似合わない。
Little did she know. Oh, Archer avoids eye contact as he passes the pendant to me, looking almost bashful.
じゃあ、ありがとう。
I accept it. To be honest, I'm not sure whether to be embarrassed or play it off right now. The pendant is as I left it. As I thought, it really doesn't have any energy left. It's just an expensive jewel now that it's empty. But to put it in Archer's terms, maybe it still has meaning as a memento of my father even without its power. I suppose I can laugh this off as a net win, since I spent my trump card to save someone's life. I jolt up in my seat. I wasn't thinking straight when I laminated what I lost, but as I pull myself together, it strikes me. He saw us, so I ought to alert his memories. Meanwhile, Lancer prioritized eliminating a witness over fighting us. Lancer thinking should reflect what his master. Which means if a master who went out of their way to kill a witness finds out that he survived...
そんなやつ、
Yep.
生かしておかない。
I stand up from a nice sofa. It's already been 3 hours. I might not be able to make it in time, but I can't let that happen. Not after all the trouble I went through. We're going back out. I sprint through the night. Fortunately, I know where he lives, not because I bothered to find out, but because someone I know I happen to know goes over to his place often. I never been there personally. Alright.
余計な苦労を背負おうとしているぞ、君は。
Archer gripes unenthusiastically. It's going to be as good of a struggle to rescue the guy now as it was to save him earlier. Alright, I'm going to be ending this soon, so I'm hoping there's like a chapter cut or something. It's midnight, the sky is surrounded in clouds. I arrive at an old samurai estate. The building closest to the outside shows no sign of life. There aren't many neighboring houses, so it's unlikely anyone would come even if they noticed something was amiss. My breath mist white. The wind picks up. It must be pretty strong because the clouds are starting to move. I find myself trembling despite the temperature of Fuyuki weather, and a chill runs down my spine. People call Fuyuki a warm place, but you can feel the winter chill. How would they call it a warm place if it has such infrequent weather? The air is bitingly cold. The chill presence in and makes it harder to hear. In the midst of the air, that seems conquered by the cold. I keenly sense the enemy.
さっきのサーバント。
I bite my lip. Something on the other side of the outer wall. Lancer must have already infiltrated the house, waiting for its witless owner to come home to
飛び
its
越えて
death.
倒すしかない。その後のことはその時に考える。
Just as I'm about to order Archer to go in... Hey, I know that sound. A flash. From the house emerges a radiant white light, bright as the sun. Its presence is all-consuming. The power radiating from Lancer is being washed away by the newcomer's even greater aura. An instantaneous explosion of ether gives the spirit physical form. and the summoned being overpowers Lancer.
嘘。
All I can do is whisper in awe, but the truth is staring me in the face. As if to prove the point, Lancer bounces over the wall, fleeing the compound.
ねえ、あーちゃん。これも、もしもの話？
さあな。だがこれで
There we go, baby.
ついに数が揃ったぞ、リン。
Archer is calm. Meanwhile, my rational thought goes flying out the window. What happens next should have been obvious, but I am not thinking straight. At least you admit it. There's a strong gust of wind. The clouds cover the sky like an umbrella. Darkness shrouds the lightlessness outskirts of the town. A servant leaps over the wall and lands gracefully. An unworldly bird. Archer reacts. I fail to even twitch in response. That's my fault. The fight ends before even a second passes. 1 second might be a brief instant to me, but it's a massive opening to a servant. A bladed wind closes in on me.
あーちゃん。
Archer lunges in front of me. While the servant cuts him deeply, it really was just an instance. An Archer who so gracefully fended off Lancer's brutal assault goes down in one hit. I made it in time. Before the servant's next strike takes off Archer's head, I forced him to retreat. Pain throbs in my right hand because it was such an extreme order. It used up 1 command spell. Now she's down to 1. Good Lord, Rin. Now I only have 1. But that was for the best. It's worth losing a spell or 2 to make sure Archer doesn't die. Without skipping the beat, the servant comes for me next. Don't underestimate me. Okay. I'm pulling out a wind-imbued topaz and fed magic energy directly into it without any extra steps. It's a cluster of wind spells that I've been feeding into it day after day, and then they're enough to blow away a house or 2 without leaving a trace. Really now. This is one of the 10 jewels I've been building up for the last 17 years without skipping a single day. Well, I mean, you wouldn't be able to do it as a baby, because I think she is only 17. Even if I can't beat this thing with it, it should be enough to slow. Or not. It didn't work at all. The moment it touches the servant, we ought to have been a tempest that will have hew away apart anything in its path, despairs like a simple stage magic trick. What terrifying magic resistance. Are you telling me that mage doesn't have enough magical energy to hurt this servant? I mean, it was bound to happen. Oh no, my magecraft doesn't work. I've lost Archer's protection. I have no way to stop the servant. Even if I barely managed to dodge the first attack, I'm finished. I looked up at the night sky. In it, I imagine a ruthless reaper coming for me, sprawled pitifully on the ground. Ah! Saber! Alright. I think this is going to be the place to stop. Yeah. Oh, hold on. I think this is a good place to stop. We got pretty far into this. We'll save this for next time. Lovely shot, though. Lovely shot. All right. Well, that being said, let's exit out of this. All right. We went for about almost 3 hours. I think that's pretty good. All right. Oh my god, the lighting is so strong. That's better. Oh, switched. There we go. Yeah, that's better. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining me today. That was quite a long arc, but we got through it, and now we're about to get some good stuff. So we got Seba coming in next time. Next time specifically will be next Tuesday. I'm debating on whether or not I do want to do, as mentioned early in the stream, to do... Actually, I'm sorry. Next time will be Monday. I'm debating on whether or not if I want to do Tuesday for a different gaming stream. Again, there might be a poll up this week, maybe on the channel or on my Twitter. Either or, there might be something up for people to decide what they want to do. If there isn't a decision, I'll just make a decision based off of my own personal preferences. But yeah, going into this week, we're going to do, again, chapter reactions on Thursday, so nothing tomorrow. And it will be JoJo's and it will be One Piece. Next week, more Fate. We might do another game. And then JoJo's next week. And then I have a decision to make for a catch-up stream for one of the other content that I read, because One Piece will be on break. So that will be the game plan for now. But we will all wait and see. So, thank you for coming to the stream. I hope everyone liked it, who's watching live or VOD. Hey, VOD gang. If you liked it, please, what you can do for me most is subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment too. Comment is also important. People forget about that last part. And hit the bell notification for when we go live. I will be making a more routine schedule and being more active in posting the streams ahead of time, whether it be through an actual announcement, a post, or on the Twitter. Again, go check that out as well. Those will be your primary notifications of when we go off. But again, if you do hit that bell notification, and we do have a stream coming along or post, you'll get it right away. Now, I have stuff to do before I go to sleep. I hope everyone has a good night, like I'm about to have, hopefully, knock on wood. Or a lovely morning, a lovely afternoon, wherever you may be in space or time. I hope your day goes well and you have a terrific one. I will see everyone next time. Enjoy, and hopefully we will have some interesting stuff in the future. I hope everyone has a good day. Goodbye. So long. Auf Wiedersehen. Goodbye.